Hello, everybody. Welcome to Running Code. I am your host, T-Bone, along with my partner. I got my back as always, J-Man. J-Man, how's it going?
It's going good.
Did you have a good week?
I did. It was okay.
You had a busy week from what I heard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got promoted, so I've had a busy week too. But for the crowd, before we start, we got our YouTube channel up. It's finally up. It's finally running. So if you are tired of listening to us and you actually want to see what we look like, go to our YouTube channel at Running Code, and that's RUNNIN_code. Check it out. We have the videos up there. We have all the podcasts as well, but we also have the videos up as well. So we finally got that up and running. Please enjoy it. Pass it on to your friends. Let them see it. That's who we are. So that was a lot of work.
Yeah.
I'd never want to be a video editor for a job.
Well, now you know why videographers make a whole lot of money.
Yeah,
whatever they
now
do.
I think they actually deserve it. Before I would have said they never did. Now I think they absolutely deserve it. So, it sucks. But today we're going to talk about fleet crashes.
Yeah.
Now, for all the LEs listening, they know what we mean by fleet crashes. Mm-hmm. And it makes their butthole pucker when we talk about it.
Yeah.
Because the fastest way to get suspended in law enforcement is to wreck a police car.
Yeah. Well, depending on how you wreck the police car.
That's true. But one costs money.
Yeah.
So if you have an excessive force and you wrecked a police car, you're going to get more days for the wrecking of a police car than you are for an excessive force. Because they don't got to pay out money right here on the spot for the excessive force. Maybe down the road in a lawsuit, but they got to get this car fixed right now. It's going to cost the county money.
Oh, yeah.
So
one less available vehicle.
So there's a lot of funny in fleet crashes because majority of them are honestly, they are our fault.
Yeah.
And that's to be expected. The hours we drive, the miles we drive daily, 8 to 10 to 12 hour shifts in law enforcement, depending on where you work. That's a lot of miles. Could be anywhere from 100 to 250 miles that day. Mm-hmm. And if you're a rural deputy in a huge county, you may run a 300-400 mile day.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
The chances of us getting crashes go way up.
It does.
But we create most of these problems, though.
That is also true. Because we don't have to drive the way that we do. If you're on routine patrol, or you're just driving around trying to get from one area to another, there's really nothing wrong with doing the speed limit. But for some reason, we gotta do just 55 or 35.
Yeah,
maybe.
I don't know why.
But, we don't have to, and it's funny because there's classes that are available for law enforcement on just just driving. But the emphasis is on you do not have to do 60 all the time, especially when you're not going to a call. Mm-hmm. You're going to lunch, just do whatever the speed limit is, and you'll be just fine.
I learned a long time ago. I just set the cruise control. Yeah, especially on a major service road or highway, I just set the cruise, and I'll set that the speed limit. So anybody passing me by virtue is speeding. Yeah, by their very virtue of passing me is speeding. Me, I hang out in lane 2 or 3. I set the cruise, and I just observe traffic around me. Yeah, and it's amazing what you see when you look in cars as they pass. You'll see guns. You'll see them doing drugs right there in front of you, beating up their old lady, or some woman beating up her husband as they pass you because you're paying attention to the cars as they pass you. Mm-hmm. There's no reason to do 75, 80 miles an hour everywhere. There's no reason for it. And even if you're going to a call, if it's not an emergency, you'll get there when you get there. There is no reason to drive that way. Yeah. And every time you do, you just up your chances. And with a lot of all officers know these cars are tracked. Yeah. We have 3 different GPS tracking devices in these cars. Your computer, what's called an AVL, will tell us exactly how fast you were going the whole day you were driving. It'll tell us where and when you were and how fast you were driving. So when you wreck a Tahoe or an Explorer or Crown Vic, I missed the Crown Vic. If you wreck any of those, very first thing the supervisor does is pull your AVL. How fast was he going? And if you weren't on a call and you're doing 90 miles an hour and you caused a crash, you've got a serious problem.
That's if your camera didn't record because, a lot of police departments, a lot of sheriff's offices, state police agencies, they all have Axon cameras. And I believe the new ones, they start to record when you hit a certain
speed. They activate on impact.
If the administrator, whoever's in charge of the Axon system for the agency, they can set it that way. So you can be doing 75 or 80, not even realize that your camera's rolling, and you're just making all these insane traffic violations, and you're just going nowhere to maybe Dutch Bros.
Yeah. And every smart administrator does that. So all of our patrol vehicles are set to where at 80, the cameras come on automatically. Mm-hmm. The traffic units are set at 90. Right. That's just, it's just how it got set. But they are set, and they will come on, and they always go back 30 seconds prior too. Mm-hmm. So they're going to catch you. So if you get into a crash, it got the prior 30 seconds prior to the crash too. Now, if you got lucky enough to where the impact disabled your batteries, you might get lucky. but the AVL didn't go away, and the AVL is going to be recording right up until the moment the power cuts off.
Yeah.
So they're going to get you. Mm-hmm. And then you got to explain to a crash review board why you were doing 90 miles an hour to a non-emergency call when the speed limit was 60.
Yeah.
That's a hard one to explain. There is no reason for it. Mm-hmm. None. Why? Because you had to get there this minute. I mean, was someone dying? Was someone hurt? Was someone shot? Was there... What justifies that speed? Nothing really justifies that speed unless you are responding to an actual emergency, a coded emergency. And even then, though, as all cops know, we have the duty to drive safely. We still have a duty to the public on the road.
Yeah.
Having a police car with lights and sirens is not exempt us from state law. Now, we have exemptions in what we're allowed to do in emergency response. We can go through stop signs. We can go through red lights. We don't have to use turn signals. But it still is our duty as officers of the law to drive safely. So on a practical level, if I'm running, let's say you're fighting somebody, you got one resisting, you're being shot at, I have to get there to help you. But if I crash because of my reckless driving on the way to get you, I created a whole new problem.
Yeah.
So now we have to split resources. Mm-hmm. Some are coming to you now, some are coming to me.
Right.
I've created a whole new problem, and I didn't help anything. Right. I didn't solve anything. I created a new problem. Mm-hmm. So we want to get there to help. As cops, we hear the toner go out. We hear an officer, I got one resisting. You can hear him fighting over the radio. You want to get there yesterday. You want to do 130 as fast as you can and get there to help them out. But if you wreck on the way, you've helped nobody.
Yeah.
And this is what a lot of the younger officers don't get. And I get it. They want to get there. I want to prove myself. I want to help my partner. I'd want the same backup. I would want the same response if it was me. The older guys that have been around a while, they don't really do that anymore. They'll keep it around 85, maybe 90, because they know that you're not going to get there any faster at 120 versus 90. You really aren't. You still have to slow down for lights and turns and curves and other traffic. So if you just do 85, 90, you'll get there about the same as anyone else who's doing 130, who has to still stop and slow down to clear intersections, slow down at stop signs. You can't just bomb them. And what if you're coming up to a school zone that's actively got kids in it? Are you going to solve anything by doing 100 miles an hour through a school zone? You might hit a kid.
Yeah.
Good luck explaining that one. No family wants to hear, well, I had an emergency. They don't want to hear it. Their kid is dead or seriously injured because you want to do 100. And honestly, I have found that sometimes turning off the lights, I get there quicker. Because some areas, you turn on the lights, you make traffic worse. Everybody freaks out, panics, slams on the brake, stops. They don't know what you want. We want them to move and get out of the way, but now they're all panicking because of sirens and lights went on.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's easier just to kill them.
I've seen some people just either maneuver or they just, because you're a police officer, or it's just a marked unit, they will move out the way. They just, because they don't want the cops behind them. That's just the thought. So they just move out the way anyway.
Yeah, a lot of times they will.
Yeah.
They'll see the push bars in the spotlight and we'll just move out of the way. Thank you. So there's times as a traffic unit, I was authorized to run code whenever I felt necessary to respond to a serious injury or fatality crash. I was authorized blanket cautious code 2. Mm-hmm. For the listening public, let me explain what code 1, code 2, and code 3 are. Code 1 is regular driving, regular traffic, no lights, no sirens, just non-emergency call. My neighbor's dog's in my yard. My neighbor gave me the finger. I want to report my credit card was stolen. Those are not emergencies. Just get there when you get there. Code 2 is lights and sirens as necessary. And then code 3 is just flat out lights, sirens on the entire time. Get there as soon as you can safely get there. Supervisor's dispatch initially authorizes a code 3, and then a dispatch or a supervisor can downgrade it to a code 2 or maintain a code 3 or say, nope, make it a code 1 or only the first 2 units, code 3, everyone else, regular traffic. It's situational. Mm-hmm. So this is where most of our fleet crashes come from. Inattentive driving, tunnel vision. You think having license sirens means a car is going to get out of your way just because you hit the license sirens. You find out the very hard way that is not the case.
Yeah.
People do not get out of your way. They're not paying attention. And it's even at night when those lights are so bright that they light up the entire area. You'd be right behind somebody with your whaler going and your lights are flashing and they do not even see you.
True.
And then all of a sudden, oh crap. And it's not that they're drunk. They just were not paying attention. Now, how they missed the lights, I don't have a clue because those things are so bright. I mean, you could guide in a 747 on final approach, but they don't. So the younger ones don't have that understanding. And so they're flying down the road expecting traffic to move out of their way, and they end up rearing a car at 100 miles an hour because he should have moved out of your way. Well, of course he should have, but he didn't.
Yeah.
So were you going to ram him out of your way? or you get behind them, hit your whaler and air horn a few times, and they get the message, move out of the way and drive. Because the worst is trying to pass and like, okay, they ain't moving, let me pass on the right. Right as you go to pass, they freak out and move over, and they move right over into you. Even when it's not our fault, because sometimes it just flat out isn't our fault, it still is our fault.
Yeah.
They're going to find a way to make it our fault. You're going to be getting calls from Thomas J. Henry and Jeff Davis and all these guys because you were still in a police car, and all the public sees is dollar signs when it involves law enforcement. They just see dollar signs. I've worked in our agency, traffic works any fleet crash. We're required to work them all. We don't let patrol work their own fleet crashes for obvious reasons. Traffic comes out and works them because, one, we know the chances of lawsuit are a lot higher.
Yeah.
So we want traffic to come out and work it to be damn sure who was at fault. Because if it was us, it was us. A traffic officer are not going to hide that you screwed up, ever. Hey, man, this is your fault. And I've had to tell officers and deputies, sorry, man, this one's your fault. I'm sorry. I can't help you. You were speeding. Because I have access as a traffic officer to all that. AVLs, GPS data, I have access to all that. And I go back and run it. Like, yeah, sorry, man, I can't help you. Be prepared to go to IA. And it sucks, but I have my credibility. So I can't hide a fleet crash and say it was the other person's fault. It was our fault. It is what it is. Now, when it's not our fault, it's not our fault. And I will tell the other party, well, this was your fault. I'm sorry. It was your fault. It is what it is. Your insurance company owes us a police car. I'm sorry. But those are rare. I would say it's a 90-10. 90% our fault, 10% the rest of the public's fault. It sucks, but that's the reality.
Right.
And I've got a million funny stories about the stupid crap I've seen officers do in a police car. And then it ends badly.
Yeah.
And I get there and they're standing outside the car looking at it like, I'm in trouble. Yeah. Yeah, you are. That was dumb. One of my favorites was years ago. Yeah, I mean, this had to be almost a decade. I was working the northern part of the county. And there's a gravel lot right next to two surface road crossroads. And there's a huge gravel lot. And this is like 10 o'clock at night. And this ding-dong was doing donuts in his police car. Didn't see a stump sticking out of the ground, tore the rear bumper off the car. Now, I get a message on the CAD, hey, come over here. So I get over there, and I'm like, what'd you do? Like, you can see the donut marks in the gravel. You can see it around the whole lot. I'm just like, did you call the sergeant? No. Why the hell did you call me? I'm leaving. You need to put yourself out of service, and I'm getting far away from here. Give me 10 minutes. Let me get far away from here. And I got the hell away, and then about 5 minutes later, I heard him say on the radio he needed a supervisor and all that. And yeah, but it was obvious. The sergeant was going to take one look at this and know exactly what happened. You just tore the bumper off of a police car because you wanted to do donuts.
See, now that's kind of funny because I was a security guard. When I first moved to Texas, it was funny. I worked for a security company, and we had like Kubotas, right? And we had some slow speed Kubotas, and then there was also some very ones that get to like 40 miles an hour. Mm-hmm. We would do donuts like at the location. It was like loose gravel and stuff like that because it was an oil refinery. But I mean, I don't know. Like we made sure like that. That's just funny. I mean, if you're going to do something like that, you want to scout the area first. Like, is there any tree stumps? Is it a dead body? Maybe is there just like, is there a pole or something? Like, I don't know. Yeah, okay. But
yeah,
why? Why do donuts in a patrol unit?
Yeah, and
and you said it was at night?
Yeah. And he was,
come on, there's something you could be doing at night.
Yeah. When I got there, he was just staring at the back of the bumper like, please let this be a nightmare that I'm going to wake up from any minute. I'm like, I can't help you, man. I'm out of here. I don't know why you called me. I'm not a supervisor. I'm leaving.
That is hilarious.
I've had fleet crashes where officers were in pursuit and they're chasing the turd to the intersection. The turd makes it. They just follow right through blindly and end up getting T-boned or T-boning somebody.
Yeah.
And that's a bad day. And that's if that person is seriously hurt or dead, that's going to cost us a lot of money because our policy even states we will clear intersections safely. If you got to let the guy go to get through safely, it is what it is. It is not worth it. Or if he runs the intersection and T-bones somebody and kills him, that's on us.
Yeah.
Now, is it on us morally? No. He's still running.
Mm-hmm.
But the public is going to go, well, you were chasing him, and it's your fault because you were chasing him. They don't put the blame on the person who was running from law enforcement. They put the blame on law enforcement for chasing him.
Yeah.
You should have let it go. It was only a stolen car. It was only a warrant. It was only this. It was only that. Well, it wasn't only that. If you look at the strict letter of the law, we're under no obligation to let them go.
Yeah.
But we have a moral obligation sometimes to go, you know what? This ain't worth it.
Yeah.
And I've chased cars and we're starting to come into town. And I'm like, oh, okay, this is getting a little too congested. It's time to kill this. And it hurts the pride, but let it go.
Yeah.
You know what? We'll see him another day.
Mm-hmm.
We'll just add another charge. If we know who it is, we just add another charge and just let it lie. It's not worth the crash. If the helicopter's up, let the helicopter deal with it.
Yeah.
Hey, are you up? Hey, are you over the car? We're going to back off now and kill our lights. And we'll exit the highway and let the helicopters follow him. And he'll eventually slow down, hopefully, because we're not behind him anymore.
Right.
And then they'll just follow him wherever he goes. And then as soon as he parks,
yeah,
we just mad dog him. Boom.
Yep.
Hi, got you. And then, if he did get out of the car, people don't realize how sensitive the cameras are on these police helicopters. I mean, these cameras are 4K definition from 4,000 feet. We'll just pull him out and go, was this him? And the helicopter will go, yep, that's him. Thank you. That was the one in the driver's seat.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
You're under arrest for evading. Throw him in the car. How'd you know it was me? Look up. See that? That's a helicopter. And they're going to give us the CD with the great footage of you running from us and then parking and walking away.
Mm-hmm.
It's great footage.
Oh, yeah.
And you're still wearing that really jazzy color shirt you were wearing in the video. So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, even me, like, I remember I was doing something very, very, just very routine, man. I was locking up a park at night. Like, because that was just part of the night responsibilities at my previous agency. And I backed into a low-hanging branch.
Yep.
I mean, I didn't panic or anything. It just happened. I was trying to park. Knew the tree was behind me. I just didn't know the branch was that low. And I hear a crunch. And I'm just like, oh, that's all right. I just hit like some low-hanging branches on the roof. They just broke or whatever, blah, blah, blah. Lock the fence. And I go back and look. I'm like, oh, no, that's a dent. That doesn't say police no more. It says Pulse. That says Pulse. And trust me, everybody had a good laugh. Everybody had a good laugh because I hit something that didn't move.
Yeah.
At like 5 miles an hour.
That tree just jumped right out behind you. It happens. Yeah. I had a fleet crash, and it was outright my fault. I was 2 weeks from being off probation. I heard another officer come on the radio and say it was on a traffic stop, and I could tell by the tone of his voice that maybe it was a little more serious. It wasn't routine, like there was something off. Mm-hmm. So I was like, well, let me just kind of wander that way and just see what. And he was literally right up the street, like not even a half mile. I'm like, well, let me wander that way and just see what he's got. He didn't ask for backup, but I had nothing going at the moment. I looked left, I looked right, pulled out, and the car was right there. And I T-boned that car and just destroyed my Tahoe, destroyed her car. It was my fault. She wasn't injured. I wasn't injured. That's about the best outcome. No injuries. And honestly, I had a lot of respect for this woman because she did not like, oh, my neck, my back, I'm suing for $1 million. She sued for the damage of this 98 Corolla. She sued for the replacement. It was like $3,000. That's all she sued for. And I didn't hear anything about it. This is back before my agency had what we call crash review boards, CRBs. So it was up to IA, whatever they're going to do with it. And they forgot to give it to IA. Like a year and a half later, I got told by one of the captains, oh, yeah, it was your fault, but it blew the time frame on it. So just don't do it again. And that was the end of it. Yeah. But I told the sergeant immediately, it was my fault. It was my fault. I couldn't deny it. I couldn't hide it.
Yeah.
And even if I had tried to, there was a camera right there at the target that would have seen the entire thing. So there's no point in even trying to deny it. It was my fault. Call it a day. And this is where officers get in trouble. They lie about silly little tiny things. And it makes it so much worse. We can read the road evidence. Traffic officers can read the road evidence and go, yeah, this is your fault.
Yeah.
We can read the skid, the yaw. We can do distance to stop, mid-cord. We can do all that and go, your fault. And that's before we pull the black box on the car or pull the AVL. We already know what happened. And then the AVL and black box just back up what we already saw in roadway evidence. Mm-hmm. The crash pattern, the debris pattern, the skid, all that. It's all right there on the road. And if you know what you're doing and you know how to read it, it reads like a book.
Yeah.
If you're an experienced traffic officer, the crash scene reads like a book. You can immediately go, I know exactly what happened based on XYZ. I've taken intermediate advanced. If you're one of those traffic officers that have been lucky enough to get intermediate, advanced, Recon 1, Recon 2, skid and yaw, MVPEG, commercial, you can walk up to a crash and in 5 seconds know exactly what happened, just based on what you're seeing. And you'll be right 99.9% of the time, unless there was an outside factor you were not aware of that wasn't made clear to you. And then you watch a video and go, okay, I know about the other car that wasn't on scene because they left, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And even then, sometimes we'll be like, well, that doesn't match that car. Hold on, there's another car that was involved here. Where'd it go? And we can see that too, especially paint transfer.
Mm-hmm.
You rub paint, a red car and a silver car, and you can rub paint and go, oh, yeah, there's another car that's involved. That car's white and that car is silver. Where's the red car?
Yeah.
So it reads very easily, and it sucks to tell a fellow officer, hey, you screwed the pooch, man. I mean, you did this. This is your fault. And no officer, no human, especially officers, want to hear they did something wrong. It just goes against your grain as a human. You're just like, no, I didn't. No, I didn't. Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Yes, you did. We're human beings, too. We screw up like anyone else. And the days of us hiding the uglies are gone.
Yeah.
It's, sorry, man. You did it. Deal with it. Okay? Take your lickings. Move on with your life. Learn the lesson. Did you learn? Now, we've had officers who've had 6 or 7 fleet crashes, and they get sent to the courthouse where you're not driving a police car for at least 2 years. You've cost us a lot of money. Great officer, but not when you get behind the wheel of a car. Like that windshield blinds you for some reason. And if they like you, you might only get a couple weeks. If they don't like you, you might get fired because you're costing them money.
Yeah.
And police cars are not cheap because the components are different for police cars because they have to be pursuit rated. They have to be high speed rated. So the components are not normal components on a lot of these cars. The engines are not normal. The transmissions aren't normal. The suspensions aren't normal because they're designed for the heavy duty, high speed driving we do. So it's just think money. Just think dollar signs.
Yeah.
And what agency is going to like paying money for your screw up? They don't have to pay. Not a one. They're going to get their pound of flesh out of you some way, somehow. And they have the option of garnishing your paycheck to pay that equipment back as well if they want to.
And that's just an insane thought, too.
But they have done it. Now, it doesn't happen often, but it has happened where they will garnish an officer's check to pay for damage to equipment. Now, I've never seen a car, but I've seen rifles, body cameras, radios, weapons. I know there was an officer, not our agency, but I heard he was in another agency here in this county who modified his work pistol. His issued sidearm, he personally modified it with a gunsmith here in town, and county made him pay for that gun. Because that was not how they issued it to him. And he's opened himself up and the agency to real severe liability. Because you cannot modify your issued firearm in any way, shape, or form. You must shoot the weapon as it was given to you, and the ammo must be supplied by your agency.
Yeah, that's odd. I wouldn't even want to. Like, I guess it's like for sports shooting or your personal weapon, you want to give it like a hair trigger, all these cool little engravings.
That's great when it's your personal one.
Yeah.
Not your police one.
Yeah.
Because that's the first thing a defense lawyer is going to bring up. Did you modify this? Yes. And then they bring up your agency's policy. It says you shall not modify county-issued firearms without express permission from the FPCO or the sheriff or his designee. And there you are modifying it.
Yeah, now you look now the jury knows that you're a rule breaker. So it's just more negative limelight cast on you.
Adding a zero.
Yeah.
It's going to add a zero to the final judgment because you chose to do that. And then your agency may go, that was out of policy, and we're severing ourselves from this because he broke policy outright.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're stuck alone in this $1 million lawsuit.
Yeah.
Oops.
Yeah, big oops.
Yeah, big oops. It's going to cost you money for probably the next 50 years because you decided you wanted to cheese your gun up a little bit. What are you, stupid? But crashes, I've had them to where, and again, it's distracted. It's officers with tunnel vision. I worked one where the officer was northbound, car was southbound. He wanted to pull that car over. Instead of pulling over and waiting until it's safe to get turned around, he pulled off to the right, pulled out in the street, then turned on his lights, and then getting T-boned by the car that was behind him. Yeah, all because the car was speeding. So you have destroyed not one but 2 vehicles. Mm. One deputy was injured. The right seater was injured. Why? Because you thought he was going to get out of the way. And when I got there as the traffic officer investigator on scene, I said, all right, man, what happened? I kind of read it already, and I kind of had a feeling what had happened, but I still need to talk to him and go, what happened? There could be an outside influence I don't know about. He's like, I said, did you have your lights on? Oh, yeah, I turned them on before I even made the turn. Well, no, he didn't. Because when I go back and run the footage, it tells you when the lights come on. Mm-hmm. So when I ran the footage, he pulled off to the side, pulled out on the road like this, then turned his lights on and got T-boned. Way too late.
Yeah.
Way too late. Now, the other guy didn't have a license. He didn't have insurance. Do you think that mattered one iota?
Nope.
Not one bit. We still bought him a nice truck.
Yeah.
Because he had the right of way. You did not. So it doesn't matter if the person has no license, no insurance, no registration. If we cause the crash, it doesn't matter. It just flat out doesn't matter. And I can go back and go, well, you were still driving with no license, no insurance. Here's tickets for you. That's not a good look.
Yeah.
Even though by the letter of the law, yes, they would get citations. Any other traffic stop, they would get citations. But we caused a crash that totaled his vehicle. How does that look now if we're giving him tickets?
Yeah.
It looks like we're just being retaliatory.
Yeah.
So let it go. Just let it go. Sucks. Let it go. You solved the problem by taking the car off the road, so let it go. But I'm not going to turn around and give him citations for it. Because now I just look like I'm being a retaliatory dickhead, and I'm just like, well, I know you're going to sue us, so here's a ticket. It doesn't solve anything.
Yeah.
You just made it worse. He may sue, he may not sue, but getting the tickets, he probably will sue. Yeah. Just because the ass pain of you gave him tickets, even though he knows he didn't cause the crash. Now, he knows he shouldn't be driving without a license, but him not having a license didn't cause the crash.
Yeah.
So it's not relevant. So just doing that just makes you look like a dick and makes your agency look unreasonable.
Yeah.
So it is amazing how many times an apology will just make stuff go away.
Yeah.
If you just, that was my bad. That was on me. We're, as cops, as humans, it's hard to apologize. As cops, it's damn near impossible for us to apologize. We're like, nope, I wasn't wrong. Nope. And sometimes an I'm sorry would have just gone a long way.
It's funny too because like it made me think of another crash. Now I was a supervisor at the time. I was the only supervisor there at night because I had my little corporal rank, and I'm out and about. I was training somebody, and I get a phone call that, hey, you need to meet me over here at this location. Like, for what? Oh, you got to see this. Okay, so I'm thinking it's something, a funny video, or maybe like he's talking to somebody, flagged him down, something. Man, I get there, and he's just standing outside the car like, yeah, I fucked up. And I'm like, well, what do you mean? And just along the left side of the patrol car, one big dent, freaking scrape and scratch just going all the way down the left side of the patrol car. And I'm like, man, what did you do? Because I'm freaking out because I'm like, come on, man. I'm not the sergeant. Like, what are you doing? So, like, yeah, I was just coming down the road and I wanted to turn to the parking lot. And when I did, I must have hit the pole. Like, you must have hit the pole. Man, look at that dent. How fast were you going when you turned? He had to be doing at least 30 miles an hour. Why somebody would turn 30 miles an hour into an empty parking lot at night, I don't understand. But, oh boy, was it funny. I remember calling my sergeant that night, and I was like, hey, I got to send you some photos. It's bad. It's funny. And then I sent it to him, and he calls me, and the first thing we do is laugh. Because it's just like, out of all people, too.
What else are you going to do?
It's funny. The people that make, like, the funniest crashes that don't harm people, you look at the person, you're just like, yeah, I expected them to do this. It would definitely fit their, like, I don't know, just their aura.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, because some people, you just look at them, they're prone to do dumb things. And it's just, I mean, they can't help it most of the time. It's just, oh, man, you look like you do stupid things.
Yep.
And then you do something stupid, and you're like, yep.
Yeah, called that one. Who didn't see that one coming? Raise your hand.
Yeah, so it's just freaking funny, man. That was funny. I mean, he owned up to it. Owned up to everything. So, I mean, like you said, honesty goes a long way. Because if he had tried to tell me that it was anything else other than what obviously happened, yeah, no, you're screwed, man.
Yeah, your credibility's gone. He lied.
Yeah. It's just, but no, he was honest up to a fault. And it's just funny because he hit the only pole, like, in the parking lot.
But he was honest. But I appreciate your honesty. Thank you, sir. Here's your suspension sign there. But we've had severe fleet crashes that were not our fault. And we had one, and this has now been adjudicated. It's over. Now I can talk about it now. Mm-hmm. There's a family that had broken down on the side of I-10 coming into town on the eastbound side. And
okay.
The patrol unit pulled in behind him to give him cover, turned his lights on so that visibility, because this is the middle of the night, visibility. A drunk woman came flying up behind him, and she hit the square end of that cop car, shoved it over the other car, crushed the dad, and killed him. I mean, massive. I mean, luckily, the kids were out of the way. I want to say the kids were in the back of his police car, They got injured, but because they were back in that cage, they were okay.
Yeah.
It killed the dad. I think it seriously mangled the mom. And the girl that hit him was just hammered. And it was not her first DWI. And she just squared the back of that patrol car doing about 80, 90 miles an hour and just shoved it right up on. Because I think we said this before on the DWI video or the DWI episode. Drunks are attracted to lights.
Yeah.
They will fixate on them and start moving. And when you fixate, you tend to start turning the wheel towards what you're fixating on.
Yeah.
And they fixate on the lights and they slam right into the back. And that's exactly what happened. And it was bad. It crushed. It was bad. And it injured that deputy pretty badly, too. Because he wasn't in a seatbelt because there was no reason to be.
Yeah.
He was behind the wheel of his car. I think he had the children in his back seat. And the dad and the mom were standing between the police car and the broken down car. And when she hit it, it pushed the Tahoe up on top and killed them both. Or killed the dad. I think the mother did survive. I was not the primary investigator on that scene. That one was flat out not our fault.
Yeah.
At all. And that girl survived without a scratch. And she got a long sentence. I don't remember what it was now, but it was a long sentence for that. Because it wasn't her first DWI either. And that goes into a factor. When they factor in punishment, they do look at your history.
Yeah.
So if you had you had 1 or 2 or 3 prior DWIs, now you've killed somebody, you're clearly not learning. So maybe now we need to add zeros to your sentence because you're not learning. You're not getting it. Now, if you're 21, college student, never been in trouble, never had a DWI, you might get 5, 10 years maybe, and you'll serve half. And you'll be out on parole the rest of it. But if you're 30-year-old man or woman, and you've got 2 or 3 prior DWIs, and you just killed somebody, you're probably going to get 15 to 20.
Yeah.
Easy. Because the first one is a B. First DWI is a B.
Mm-hmm.
That should be your wake-up call right there. Like, hey, move on with your life. Don't do it again. Most jobs is not going to affect your job. Yeah. Most jobs, unless you're a commercial driver or stuff like that, where, rightfully it'll affect your job. But if you're like an insurance salesman or you're a real estate broker, no one in that world cares if you have a misdemeanor DWI. No one cares.
Mm-hmm.
So the first one should be your wake-up call. But then you get another one. And then you cause a fatality on the third one. Well, now you have a different problem. Yeah. Because you had all the time in the world to stop doing that, and you didn't.
Yep.
And what we know is for every time we've caught you driving drunk, there's 50 times we didn't catch you.
Yeah.
You just keep rolling the dice every night, and then eventually you get caught.
Yep.
So I don't know. That was a rough night. That one was a bad one. But by and large, honestly, we cause the majority of our crashes. We do. It's the benefit of we're young. We want to get there right now. I'm a police car. I can do what I want. No, you can't. So yes, we still have to abide by state law in police cars.
Yeah.
So it drives me nuts when I'm on the highway and I see a police car go by me at like 90 miles an hour. And then when I look up their call, they're not even on a call. There's no active call. They're just driving that way because I'm a cop. Who's going to say something? I will. Because in 10 minutes, I'm going to be working your crash.
That's true.
Because you want to haul ass. There's no reason to. Slow down.
Or they drive it like it's their personal car. Like, I remember one of the first things I was told when I was on training that I had to keep my both hands on the wheel. Like, this is not your car. You can drive one-handed all day you want, but while you're in this like unit, you drive with 2 hands.
Mm-hmm. 10 and 2?
10 and 2.
3 and 9? Whatever.
Because you got the most stability and control this way.
Most stability and control. And besides, it'll keep your hand from doing something it shouldn't be, like playing with the CAD, playing with your phone, because we're not authorized to text and drive either.
Yeah.
Now, we can use our phones verbally when it's business related.
Yeah.
So if I'm on the way to a call and I need more information, I can call a supervisor, I can call the complainant while I'm on the way. I can legally do that.
Yeah.
But I can't be driving around, hey, honey, what's going on? What's for dinner? I love you. No, there is none of that.
Mm-hmm.
Because you still abide by state law. Lights and sirens give us the legal right to exceed the speed limit and not use turn signals, which you're not going to see anyway because the wags, the lights are all going.
Yeah.
Run stop signs, run lights, but it still behooves us to do it safely in a safe manner that will get us there in one piece without killing anybody.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of people don't get.
Yeah.
They think, I'm going to drive my way. Well, and it's going to cost you. When I was training, I had a trainee, he was a sharp guy. We were running code to a call, and he blew a major intersection at full speed. And I mean, I'm screaming at the top of my lungs. I'm pretty sure I sucked the seat cushion up my ass. And I was holding on to the shit handle, 1 foot on the dash, just waiting, which this is the worst thing I could have done was my foot on the dash. I'm going to eat my knee when the airbag comes out. But I'm screaming, stop! And he went right through it. We'll talk about that when we're done with this call. And when the call was over, we had to come to Jesus, and I chewed about 10 pounds off his ass. But fast forward to about 6 months later when he was long on his own, he called me and said, "You saved my life. I heard you in my head screaming at me as I was about to bomb that same intersection, running code. He slammed on the brakes. Even though he had the green, he slammed on the brake. 18-wheeler ran the light. It would have crushed him."
Yeah.
He said, "I heard you screaming in my head, and I slammed on the brakes." I was like, there you go. The ass chewing had a purpose, and it served its function. You're alive. Nobody died. You made it to your call. We have a tendency to go, I'm going to hit the whaler. I'm going to trill it. I'm going to hit the lights. I'm going to blow this intersection. They're going to stop for me, though. They won't, especially when they're coming from the right and the left. They cannot see you, especially if you got a gas station right here or maybe a bridge overpass right here. They can't see you. Mm-hmm. And if it's daytime, they definitely can't see you. Night, maybe they'll see the lights, but most of them don't think they're coming from this direction.
Yeah.
They just see the lights and go, oh, okay, where's it at? It's behind me. Nope, it's coming from here.
Especially in the county that we work in.
Yep.
Like, some of these streets, I think they're just built to be dangerous on purpose. And sometimes I just think, well, it's just a bad spot. Just did what they could. I have a particular one in my name, in my head, but I just don't want to say it. But it sucks. I was on it the other day, and I'm like, man, this doesn't give you enough time to even get out. It's so busy. It's one of the roads that's always busy, no matter what time of day it is. I think the only time there's no traffic on that road is during like a major storm or when we sometimes get snow down here in South Texas.
Yeah.
Then that's when the road is.
Like, we still go to the crashes.
Yeah, still go to the crashes.
Used to ice down here, and so even our deputies do it. Even our officers do it. Even our state police do it. It's icy. Let me go faster. Okay. You would tell the public to slow the hell down, but you can't apparently slow the hell down. Did you think the physics are different for your police car versus their civilian car? They're not any different. Physics are physics. Yeah. Objects in motion stay in motion until acted upon by greater force. So you start sliding on ice, the only thing stopping you now is a bridge abutment, a pole, a ditch, another car. That's what's going to stop you now. And it's going to be a very expensive check.
Yeah.
So slow down. Everybody just slow down. And that's the majority of our crashes are what? Speed.
Yeah.
That's the majority of our crashes are speed related. Number one with a bullet, speed related. Mm-hmm. Almost all crashes, law enforcement or civilian, are speed related.
Yep.
Close second for civilians is narcotics and distracted driving. Number two for law enforcement is distracted driving. CAD, cell phone, radio, that's distracted us. But number one is always speed. It's always speed. I mean, with a bullet, it's speed. So I tell officers all the time, slow down. You'll get there when you get there. There's no reason to do 100 at all. You'll get there when you get there.
Yeah.
The situation is not going away. It will be there when you get there. If it's serious enough, it'll be there when you get there. And if it's not, Father Time solves a lot of problems too. Mm-hmm. You get the stupid call that you know is asinine. If you take your time getting there, 99 out of 100, it's solved before you even get there.
Yeah.
Father Time solved it for you. But you're in a rush to get there, and then you end up in the middle of something that's stupid, and you end up using force over something that was just dumb. Mm-hmm. If you'd done the speed limit, that guy is left before he even got there. Yeah. Now you just take he came and he called me names and he left. Okay. Here's your instant number. Have a great day. Mm-hmm. So Father Time solves a lot of problems if you just let Father Time work.
True.
Very true. That's my take on fleet crashes. It's a never ending problem. Every agency is going to deal with it constantly. It's just the virtues of our job.
Right.
And it sucks because nothing worse as a supervisor than hearing, I got into a fleet crash on the radio, and you're just like, son of a bitch. Your first thought is, hope the officer's okay. Second one is, please don't be our fault. Please don't be our fault.
Yeah.
And 9 out of 10, it's our fault.
Yeah. So, it is.
And then right away, your phone's ringing. It's the chief. It's your captains. It's maybe the sheriff or the chief of police himself calling you. What happened? I just got the call. Let me call you back when I get there. And everybody up and down the chain of command is calling you on the way to this crash that you haven't even made location at because they want answers this minute. Can you give me 5 minutes, please? And then you got to call them. It was our fault. Especially when it's a major. We had a deputy pull a major, and it was like I got there and I was like, "Oh, mother of God, yeah, this was gonna make the news." Yep. It did. It involved 5 cars. It made the news, and I was just like, and I was the primary traffic officer when I got there. And I was just like, "Oh." I'm already in my head trying to figure out how I'm going to diagram this thing, number one, because this whole massive intersection was completely involved. Talk about shutting down a major intersection at rush hour.
Oh, yeah, you're well liked by a lot of people.
Well liked.
The public definitely appreciated what you did.
I got more fingers that day than I ever got in my life.
They were
and I'm
so
like, what do you want me to do?
Look at those deputies right there taking care of that crash during 5 p.m. rush hour traffic. Oh, I love you guys.
Yeah. This must mean that must be what this means. I love you. It's new slang. It's maybe new ASL.
Yeah.
The middle finger means I love you. Yeah. Then everybody loved me that day because I had to shut down for about 4 hours because this was a major. We had to pull out this total station, mark the scene, total everything. It was bad. All 5 cars were demolished. I was like, oh, and then we got the video from the gas station around the corner or right up the corner. It had 4K footage of that intersection. It got the whole thing in high definition, and it was 100% our fault. Zero way around it. And I was just like, well, I hope you enjoyed working for us. It's been a slice. Just make sure you turn your gun and badge in on the way out.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, that he did not get fired, but he got a very long unpaid vacation.
Well, there you go too. Yeah.
So it was his fault.
Yeah.
What do you want to do? We cannot reward bad driving with positivity. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. You caused this, and there must be consequences. 1, for you, and 2, everyone else sees them and goes, okay, don't drive like that. We've got to do something.
Yeah.
So that's my foot stomp on fleet crashes. And you got anything you want to add?
Nah.
It's funny until it's tragic. Yeah. Most times it's funny. Sometimes it's tragic. And we're not going to discuss those because we like the funny here at Running Code. But for everybody listening today, we hope you enjoyed it. Maybe even learned something. Officers, maybe you learned something. Slow the hell down. Everybody slow down. Everybody slow down. Just slow down. And for our loyal listeners, again, please check out our YouTube channel. We worked hard on it. We're proud of it. Please leave us feedback. Please leave comments on the videos. If you have questions, send us. We'll answer your questions. Absolutely. If you want to call or write and talk shit, hey, be our guest too. That ain't going to hurt our feelings. We don't have feelings. We're cops. But everybody, brothers and sisters, I always say it. Help each other out. Back each other up. Keep yourself safe. And a new one, slow the hell down.
Yeah.
You'll get there when you get there.
Yeah.
You're not going to help anybody by wrecking. So if you take nothing else away from today's podcast, slow down.
Slow down.
Slow down. I promise you'll get there. You can't say you weren't speeding when you know damn well you were speeding. It's the same excuse you give people you pull over doing high speed that look you right in the eye and say, I didn't know I was speeding. Yes, you did. Well, we do too. So stop. Just slow down. Just drive safe. So from myself and J-Man here at Running Code, brothers and sisters, watch your back. Our civilian listeners, have a great week. Have a good week. Have a productive week. And please check out our YouTube channel. And I got nothing else. J-Man?
Nope, we're all good.
All right. Well, we're out of here.